Brian Norman Jr. has way better experience than Devin the Dream Haney. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video. We live Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday night at 7:30. I'm also live Sunday mornings with the Singing OG KQKC Boxing Network. Sunday mornings, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Join the channel as a member. Drop super chats and super thanks when you come by the live streams that we do. And hit me up if you want to debate. Knockoutboxing86@yahoo.com is the email. Also, please hype up the video. You can scroll over. YouTube will let you scroll over where you leave a comment now. It's a new feature, and you can hype up the video. And what that does is it increases the reach of the channel, and it also makes us more recommended for people looking for boxing talk on YouTube. When they search in a particular topic, it can push our channel, push our video up to the top with the more hype points that you get the video. So please hype up the video, and let's get into it. So as we get closer, we're about 1 week away from the David Benavidez Anthony Yarde fight card next week, and I keep hearing just some of the stupidest shit ever, and that is Devin Haney has better experience than Brian Norman Jr. That's wild to me. That makes absolutely no sense to me. And let me explain to you what I mean. It makes no sense specifically coming from Devin Haney fans that are also Errol Spence fans, because it's a complete 180 from the talking points that they were using when it was Errol Spence and Bud Crawford. The talking points, I remember them vividly, was Errol Spence has better experience than Terrence Bud Crawford at 147 pounds. And then you would go through the people that Earl fought at 147 comparing to the people that Bud Crawford fought at 147, and you would see that Earl had fought the better competition. Well, when you look at Devin Haney's career at 147 pounds, he has never fought at 147 pounds. Brian Norman Jr. has multiple fights at 147 pounds. So how is it possible for Devin Haney to have better experience than Brian Norman Jr. based on your own logic if you are a Devin and Errol Spence fan? The fact of the matter is, it doesn't. You guys just have no backbone, a lot of you. You guys just change your talking points. You change your view of boxing based on who the fighter is. And it's always been there, specifically for Devin Haney fans. If it's Errol Spence and you rock with him, oh shit, you know what? Yeah, bruh, you know, Earl got better experience, and here's why. If it's Devin Haney and you rock with him, oh yeah, you know, Devin got better experience, and here's why. Brian Norman Jr. has Giovanni Santillan, Derek Cuevas, Jen Sasaki, Quentin Randall, and the plenty fights at 147 pounds. Devin Haney has spent the majority of his career at 135 pounds. He spent 2 fights at 140, and he has the catchweight fight at 144 pounds. Now, you want to say he has better experience than Brian Norman Jr. Put it to you like this, bro. You put Jorge Linares in the ring with Brian Norman Jr. You put Jose Ramirez in the ring with Brian Norman Jr. Y'all seen what Brian Norman Jr. does to guys who fight like that. All right? He's whooping their ass and he's stopping their ass. And you put Lomachenko in there, Lomachenko would have to be perfect the entire fight. Lomachenko is a come-forward fighter. And if guys like Linares can find ways to hit him, if guys like Timalifu can find ways to hit him, if Salido can rough him up, what you think Brian Norman Jr. has a shot to do with Vasily Lomachenko, 5'4", 65-inch arm reach having ass? The fact of the matter is, your lower weight class experience, is not going to help you as you move up in weight. Your talent will, your skill will. And what we learned in Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford is, honestly, experience don't matter. So I'm not saying that Brian Norman Jr.'s experience will win him the fight against Devin Haney. That fight will be won with talent, skill, and will, bro. Whoever has the skill to enforce their will on the fight is going to win that fight. If Devin Haney can use his skill of moving around the ring, using lateral movement, using the jab, keeping his distance, if he can use his skill to put that type of will on the fight and frustrate Brian Norman Jr., moving around the ring, running around the ring and shit, throwing out a jab here, throwing out a jab there, he'll enforce his will on the fight and he'll win the fight because of that. He won't win the fight because he's fought somebody like Lomachenko and Brian Norman hasn't, bro. He won't win the fight because he fought somebody like Linares and Brian Norman hasn't, bro. That won't be the reason he'll win the fight. If Brian Norman Jr. wins the fight, it won't be because he's fought multiple fights at 147 pounds. It won't be because he knocked out Giovanni Santillan or knocked out Jen Sasaki. If he wins the fight, it'll be because he got Devin Haney to exchange with him. He put Devin Haney in uncomfortable positions, and he made Devin Haney sit down and fight when he didn't want to. That is why he will win the fight. If either of them are able to win the fight. So experience is not gonna win this fight, bro. But if we want to just be factual and want to talk about the facts, when it comes to 147 pounds, it's a bigger, stronger, more physical weight class than Devin Haney has ever been in, bro. Meaning that his experience against Regis, bro, Regis don't get you ready for Brian Norman. He don't have the experience. He don't have the amateur pedigree. He's a southpaw. He only got one hand. Brian Norman's good with two hands. That experience ain't gonna do nothing with you, bro. It's not gonna do a thing. So when you look at it from that perspective, and we see it all the time in boxing, I'm like, we gotta get off of this shit, bro. David Benavidez and Vosdick had better experience than him. Caleb Plant had better experience than him, right? Jesse Bam Rodriguez, Carlos Cuadras, Rung Vasai, Juan Francisco Estrada, Sonny Edwards, they had better experience than him, bro. Abdullah Mason, Nakathila had better experience. All right? Who else, bro? Shoot, when Earl fought Kell Brook had better experience than him, dog. And the list goes on and on and on. When Bivol fought Better Beef had better experience, in my opinion. Hell, when Bivol fought Canelo had better experience. When Bud fought Canelo had better experience, bro. It's not even that it's important. It's just that if we're going to talk about it, let's not lie about it. There's no way possible you could say that Devin Haney has better experience than Brian Norman Jr. when he's never fought at the weight class he's about to challenge Brian Norman Jr. in, bro. There's no way possible. Specifically, if you were saying the same shit when it was Earl and Terrence Crawford, now you just flipped the shit because you love Devin. That shit's crazy to me, bro. It makes no sense to have that train of thought unless you just glazing, unless you just meat riding, bro. Straight up. Brian Norman Jr. If you're going with experience, is the guy at the welterweight division that has better experience, bro. But this fight is not about that. This fight will be about whether or not Devin Haney has PTSD, whether or not he panics. This will be about who can get the most out of their pupil between Bill Haney and Brian Norman Sr. This will be about, can Brian Norman Jr. keep Devin Haney from running if Devin Haney is smart. This is about if Devin Haney will even be smart, or will he fight stupid like he did against Ryan Garcia. This will be about whether or not Brian Norman Jr. can land big shots and clean shots on Devin. And if he does, can Devin take those shots? This fight is about so much more than experience. But this is what's happening, y'all. Devin Haney fans are trying to find something to hang their hat on. Because if you really be real, there's two different ways. Two different ways. Devin Haney can win this fight by running away and jabbing and grabbing and making the fight boring and fighting very scared. Brian Norman Jr. can win this fight by destroying Devin Haney or making him run from him. Which one would you rather be? The dirty kept secret in boxing is that Devin is not a masterclass boxer. Devin dropped rounds to Jojo Diaz. Jorge Linares got a couple of rounds off Devin when he hurt him late in the fight. Vasily Lomachenko got multiple rounds off of Devin Haney. Ryan Garcia got multiple rounds off of Devin Haney. This idea that he just box circles around dudes, 12 zipping everybody, doing it, bro, that's cap. He's so hard to hit. Devin Haney is not easy to hit. I mean, not hard to hit if you can make him sit down, if you can make him be still, if you got the hand speed and the feet to be able to do it, bro, which Brian Norman Jr. has athleticism. So I don't know about y'all. If I'm going into a fight and I got a guy that can win by running away, running around the ring, not engaging, only throwing a jab, got to keep his other punches in his pocket because he got to worry about what's coming back at him. Compare that to a dude that can let every punch go because he ain't got to worry about no power coming back at him. It's going to be the one on the hunt. It's going to be the one trying to cut out the ring. Which one would you rather be, bro?
She's kicking you.
Which one would you rather be? But I just want to tell Devin Haney fans everywhere, bro, stop the cap, stop lying. Because a lot of y'all was the same person. People saying Terrence Crawford's resume at 135 don't matter. Terrence Crawford's resume at 140 don't matter. Earl Spence has a better resume at 147. He's fought better fighters. What you think Kell Brook would do to Ricky Burns? What you think this person would do to that person? But see, then now when somebody can say, well, what you think Giovanni Santillan would do to little bitty ass JoJo Diaz? What you think Giovanni Santillan would do? What you think Jen Sasaki would do with a Jorge Linares chinny ass in front of them? Now weight classes don't matter no more. Now who's had the better experience in the weight class don't matter no more. You put washed up Jose Ramirez in front of Giovanni Santillan or Jen Sasaki. Come on, bro. The fact of the matter is, Devin ain't never fought at this weight class, man. And if he wins, it's going to be because of his skill and talent. It ain't going to be because he got better experience than Brian Norman Jr. because he don't. And the other thing that makes Brian Norman Jr.'s experience better than Devin the Dream Haney, he's used to fighting people his size. He's used to going into fights and having an arm reach disadvantage. He's used to going into fights and having dudes be just as strong, just as big, if not stronger, if not bigger than him. Devin Haney's not used to that. He's a fighter that shrunk himself down his entire career. Over and over again to make 135, over and over again for 140. And the one time in his career where somebody could mirror him from a length and strength and size perspective, we saw what happened. Osterine, KO, Osterine. All right, that's cool. You're an orthodox fighter. What Osterine got to do with you jabbing like this? What Osterine got to do with you holding the phone? What Osterine got to do with you deciding to go in there and exchange left hooks with somebody with faster hands than you that's more powerful than you? What Osterine got to do with your daddy telling the world that I'm sending you in there to kill him, I'm sending you in there to knock him out? What it got to do with the mentality that your daddy sent you in the ring with? What does it have to do with your daddy having no adjustments for you in the ring? What does Osterine have to do with any of that shit? Just a question. Brian Norman Jr. though, Cuevas taller than him. Quentin Randall taller than him. Giovanni Santillan just as tall as him, strong as him. So when he looks across the ring, he sees somebody with the same height, same arm reach. He's used to it. Devin Haney's not. So if you want to talk about experience, really talk about experience in a weight class. You know, like y'all used to do when it was Earl Spence and Bud Crawford. Goddamn hypocrites. See y'all soon. Peace.